What's up, everybody? I am Jesse, or GameOverJesse, as all of you may know me. Here with us is Champion Ashley and Teddy Bear. So today we're going to be talking about a lot of different stuff. We're going to be talking about the new Venom trailer, new information that was released with it, basically covering everything that we know about the movie so far. We're going to be talking about some DC stuff, Spider-Man's Silk spinoff, and then we're going to end it with Avengers 4 ideas and theories. So to start us off with Venom, a new trailer was shown off at Comic-Con. The trailer has not yet been released, but there was a bunch of stuff that they showed off and confirmed for the movie. One of the bad guys that we've seen from the trailer, who is another symbiote, because Venom, obviously a symbiote. Riot is making his first live-action appearance, so it's pretty exciting for anyone who's a Spider-Man fan, because the symbiotes are some of Spider-Man's fan favorite villains or anti-heroes, whatever you want to call them. So to see Venom have not just Venom or Carnage, but some of the more obscure symbiotes is really cool. He kind of confirmed that there were going to be other villains, but they didn't want to announce anything yet because they didn't want to spoil any surprises. But then he also said that the storyline of the movie was based off of Venom Lethal Protector, sort of loosely based off of it, which the best way to explain the storyline is actually, we have a quick summary here where it says, before the story begins, Venom makes an agreement with Spider-Man that they will leave each other alone, on the condition that Venom commits no crimes. Venom then moves from New York City to San Francisco and takes up with a group of Californian mole people. Shortly thereafter, the father of one of Venom's victims seeks him out with a group of superpowered mercenaries to take revenge. Spider-Man, seeing misleading coverage of Venom on television, heads to San Francisco to confront him, and instead winds up fighting alongside Venom against 5 new offspring of the Venom symbiote: Scream, Phage, Riot, Lasher, and Agony. So this movie, where Venom was kind of captured and they experimented on him or whatever, and they took the 5 seeds, made these other 5 symbiotes the sons of Venom. It seems that it's following that plot line very closely, actually. I thought it was just going to be loosely based off of it, but we know that Venom takes place in San Francisco, where the comic takes place. There's the rich billionaire mad scientist guy who's using the symbiote to experiment on people. I think they confirmed that he also had a symbiote suit. Again, we haven't seen the trailer, they haven't released it yet, so we don't know if he is the one playing as Riot or if Riot is another one. But it seems to be that if they keep going along to where it's following the storyline just as closely, then there will be these other 5 symbiotes as well. Or these other 4 symbiotes, actually. So that'd be 6 total, 7 if Carnage ends up making an appearance, which, cross your fingers, but maybe they don't want to do that so soon. Maybe they save that for a sequel if the movie does really well. He also teased, there was an interview with IGN where the director stated, he was asked if Spider-Man was going to be in the movie, and he said that he could not confirm whether or not that he was in the movie or not. And then during the actual Comic-Con panel, he was asked again, because another thing that we know about this Venom is, instead of the white spider on the chest, he has what looks like a bunch of white veins, and the director said that he has the white veins, or it looks like white veins at least, because this Venom has never been attached to Spider-Man, so it wouldn't make sense for him to have the Spider-Man symbol. So I think someone asked him, like, since Spider-Man isn't going to be in the movie, will he ever meet Spider-Man? And he said that they couldn't reveal too much, but at some time Spider-Man and Venom will cross paths, which makes me think if it's based off of this, then maybe Spider-Man comes in at the very end and helps alongside Venom, or maybe he shows up in like a credit scene or something. So there's a lot of cool stuff here, and another thing that they mentioned during the trailer was when I think there was a store being robbed or something like that, and Venom pretty much bites the guy's head off, which was definitely not something that I was expecting from the movie. It seems a little too graphic for what I would think that Sony would do with Venom. But the director did also state that he doesn't want like a watered down version of Venom. He wants a Venom that people who are fans of the comics would be a fan of the portrayal in the movie. So I guess they are going all out with like a fully mature oriented
So rated
Venom.
R Venom.
I don't know if it's rated R, but
I think if they're not doing any like blood and gore, it's probably going to be at least rated PG-13.
yeah, like if he bites the person, like if it shows him biting the person's head off, which in the trailer it kind of like cut away when Venom's mouth opened, and it gives the impression that he bites the person's head off. So if it cuts
So
away
not
like
full
that,
on showing it.
yeah, like if it cuts away in the movie, because it could be something that they're just saving for the movie that they don't want to put in a trailer, because trailer is supposed to be for all audiences most of the time. So for it could, if it's something they're saving for the movie and he does do it, then yeah, it's going to be rated R. But if it's just like the camera cuts away before and you hear him scream, then it'll just be PG-13. So, and then especially if there's a lot more than that as well, because there could be even more violent parts, especially with Venom being the good guy fighting against the other symbiotes like Riot. If Venom's doing this as like the anti-hero, then these other guys must be doing something a lot worse. So basically I just wanted to, we covered basically everything that there was to know about the movie. The possibility of Spider-Man making an appearance, which the fact that he said that he could cross paths with Spider-Man means that he kind of confirms that it does take place in like the Spider-Man universe. So whether or not that also connects it to the Marvel Cinematic Universe is still up for debate, because it could be like the Sony movies are its own thing, and then the Disney movies are its own thing, and Spider-Man just kind of crosses the line back and forth, or it all could take place in the same universe. We don't really know, but he did confirm that it is in the same universe with Spider-Man, or else they wouldn't be able to cross paths. And then we know he's not going to have the spider logo on the chest. It's going to be like the white veins. It's going to be tonally different from Homecoming and other Marvel movies, where it's more mature rated or adult audience oriented. And we know that there are going to be multiple villains, at least one of which being the symbiote Riot, which if it does follow the same storyline, then other symbiotes are going to be there as well. But Tevi, starting with you, what are your thoughts on all this?
So I have been a Spider-Man fan pretty much all my life, and the moment that I found out they were doing a live-action Venom movie made me very happy, because now Sony finally has the chance to redeem themselves for the piece of crap that was the original Spider-Man 3.
I love that Spider-Man 3.
I don't like that movie very much. I loved it as a kid, and then I watched it when I got older, and I'm like, you know, this isn't as good as I thought it was.
For a long time, it was my favorite movie. So
yeah, and like if you love the movie, if you hate the movie, I'm not trying to bring you down on that. It's just personally, I didn't like it. And one of the main reasons why I didn't like it was their portrayal of Venom. I didn't think that they did enough with him to make him.
I believe is a crime because from what I've heard, the studio pushed Sam Raimi to put in Venom.
Yeah.
He wanted to do a different villain. I think it was the Lizard he wanted to do as a villain, but instead the studio said, no, we want to do Venom instead. And then we barely see him at all, which is extremely weird and does not do the character, the villain, justice.
Yeah. And not to mention, I think that the way he was killed off was kind of lame. I think they could have done something better with that. But with this new Venom movie coming out, I think this is finally the chance that Sony has to give us a good Venom. And the actor who is portraying Eddie Brock, I forget his name at the
Tom Hardy.
Moment. Tom Hardy, thank you. Tom Hardy, I think so far from what I've seen from the trailers, I think he's doing good. Venom himself, we've barely seen any of him, but when the Venom came down on his face and, he's like, "We are Venom," I thought that was so cool. So I'm very much looking forward to this movie. I have a lot of faith in Sony on this one.
Yeah, they also have, there's something saying that when Venom's talking to him at certain points, there's like a CG Venom head that kind of appears off of his shoulder. I don't know if that meant like it's not connected and it's supposed to look like, someone's inside his mind talking to him.
Yeah, kind of like like an angel on one side, a devil on the other side.
Like, I don't know if it meant that or if the Venom suit actually, like, the black goo or whatever it is, the symbiote, like, actually stretches out from his shoulder or something. And then you see the head, like, physically attached, but not on his head talking to him.
That would look so weird.
So, like, whatever way that they, like, whichever path they take with it, I think it's going to be interesting. So, but Ashley, what are your thoughts?
I have extremely cautious optimism about this. At first, I did not want a Venom movie at all because I didn't have the faith that Sony could do Venom correctly without Marvel, because it seems as though Marvel knows the characters better than Sony does. And knowing that this film isn't going to be a part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, I'm sort of fine with that. But I'm also like, you should still have the guys who've been doing comic book movies right a part of this. And the trailers have been fine. I think that they're fine. They haven't gotten me completely hooked.
Well, there's only one
onto
trailer
the film
for Venom.
Well, the trailer itself hasn't gotten me like, oh, I want to see that film. It's more like you've got me intrigued. Let me see more, and then I'll make a decision. And about the Spider-Man connection, I think what my 2 cents about it is, I think this is an alternate version of the comic book universe where Spider-Man isn't on the Avengers like he is in or like he was in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yep.
And I don't expect Spider-Man to show up at all in this film. Maybe a name drop, maybe like a small appearance by Tom Holland in the film. And if they do an end credits scene with Spider-Man, fine. I'm okay with that. But I don't think that he's going to appear in this film as Spider-Man, because I think what Sony are going for is that this is Venom's film. any appearance of Spider-Man will take the audience's attention completely off of Venom.
Yeah.
So I don't think that they are going to do that.
Yeah, I think Sony really shouldn't. They need to be careful about this because they don't want their fans going into the movie being all like, "Where's Spider-Man? Where's Spider-Man? Where's Spider-Man? There's Spider-Man. Okay, now we can go home."
I think
so.
I feel like I'm the exact opposite on this. I think most fans would go in and be disappointed if they didn't see some sort of interaction with Spider-Man, because the big fight that a lot of people would want to see would be Spider-Man and Venom, and where Spider-Man, we know, is just, you know, a high school kid at this point with little training, whereas Venom is attached to someone who I think in this movie is supposed to have some sort of military training. So not only is Venom like stronger, bigger, more powerful, but he actually knows how to like strategize and fight, where Spider-Man just knows as much as like a normal kid would know. You know, a kid with super strength, but still. So I think it would be a scenario where Spider-Man goes to try to stop him, but then ends up somehow losing against him or something. But instead of like harming him or trying to kill him or something, like there's something like you would expect in the comics or the cartoons, where Venom always, I think Venom hated Spider-Man because Spider-Man like didn't want to be a part of him. So it wasn't necessarily that Venom, maybe this is just like one continuity that I'm remembering this from and not all of them, but it was like Venom hated Spider-Man because Spider-Man didn't want to be a part of him. So instead of killing him, Spider-Man would have, or Venom would have just like latched back on to Spider-Man. So it was more of a jealousy type thing, but that connection wouldn't be there in this movie. So I'm just wondering.
I think that about Spider-Man, you can't go, this is essentially a position where you can't please everyone with this. Like, if you go one route, you're inevitably going to anger another group of people. Like, for me and Tevi, we don't want to see Spider-Man. And if they do go that route, it's going to anger quite a lot of fans who are going to be like, where's Spider-Man? And then, but if you do include Spider-Man, it takes the audience's attention off of the main character, which is Venom and Eddie Brock. And that could downgrade the film overall by taking the attention off of the main character, or rather the audience's attention off of the main character onto Spider-Man.
See, I think a lot of people thought the same thing about in the trailers for Spider-Man Homecoming. Almost every scene in the trailers had Iron Man in it. And there's a lot of people like Robert Downey Jr. is basically the leader of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Having Iron Man in it's going to take a lot of stuff away from Spider-Man. And even in the movie, a lot of the stuff, like whenever they're on the ship, it's Iron Man that comes to help Spider-Man and pretty much saves the day, where Spider-Man wasn't able to do it on his own. So a lot of people thought that it would be Iron Man taking it away from Spider-Man, where Iron Man was in maybe 20 minutes, 30 minutes total in the Spider-Man movie, which is a lot more than I imagined Spider-Man would be in the Venom movie. Like, I think he would just show up for like 5 minutes, there'd be a brief interaction, and then Venom would basically crush Spider-Man and then go on somewhere, and then maybe Spider-Man has like some quirky joke about it, or he shows up in like a credit scene or like at the very end of the movie and he's just like, who are you? And then he does the line, we are Venom, and then it goes off. Now, I don't think that would take too much away, because I don't really see a world where too many people expect to see a Venom movie without Spider-Man, because they are so connected. So I think everyone going in would know what to expect. But that's just my thoughts.
Yeah, I'm essentially in a position where I can't figure out if the movie will be better with Spider-Man included or not. It's just also the film, it hasn't even, I mean, I know that we've been hearing about a second trailer, but we still haven't seen it yet. So we don't know if we need to decide if the movie has improved or not before we can start putting judgment on Spider-Man being in the film.
I think that if they really did want to include Spider-Man in this film, I would save it for an end credit scene to tie over to the next Venom movie. If there is going to be another Venom movie, maybe like their main focus for this movie is, okay, we want to establish Venom, who he is, what his goals are, and then at the end we're going to tease Spider-Man, so that way for the next movie, oh, Spider-Man comes in to help Venom.
Yeah.
You need to establish your main character first, and then you can bring in Spider-Man.
That's exactly what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, and if they don't do Carnage as the main villain in this movie, then it would be interesting if they saved Carnage for the second movie.
Yeah, they could. If this movie does well, they could do Carnage.
Yeah, I would love to have Carnage be the main villain for a Venom Spider-Man team-up movie.
Yeah.
But you know, Venom really doesn't have his own villains per se. Usually all of Venom's villains are all Spider-Man's villains. So either you go and have Venom go against maybe a villain we've already treaded before, bring in someone we don't know, or we deal with one of the symbiotes, which I think we might deal with, not Carnage, but maybe, I know in this article they implied something going on with the Riot Symbiote.
Yeah, Riot was shown in the trailer. Said he was much bigger and stronger and everything than Venom was.
Yeah.
So.
And who knows? Maybe in the future they can tackle anti-Venom or something like that. I would love to see that.
I think it would make a cool build up for like Spider-Man 3. So whatever is coming after Far From Home. Was that the second title?
That's reportedly the title.
So like if Spider-Man comes up and the Venom suit like attaches to Spider-Man in like the end credit scene or something, and then that could lead to like Spider-Man 3 where he has the black suit and it's him like coming to terms with that, and then maybe he gets it off or something. I don't know, but it would be cool to see that. And then I expect to see like Spider-Man in the symbiote suit at some point, but maybe that's much further down the road than this. But anyways, let's get on to oh man, you sound like a robot right now. Did you cut out?
Yeah.
Are you there?
Mom. Hello?
Okay. What were you saying?
Hello.
Nothing. We can move on.
Alright.
Secrets Immortal in the chat earlier said 65k subs. Awesome.
Oh, thank you. So the next movie we're going to talk about is another Spider-Man spin-off. This one is called Silk, and there's a rundown on this from Variety.com, which pretty much tells us all that we need to know. So I'll read through it, update everybody, and then we'll discuss it a bit, kind of like the last one. So.
Hey everyone, it's me again, Elia Rose. I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching this video. And you know what? If you're a fan of videos like this, you should totally subscribe and give this video a like and comment below to let us know what type of videos you would like to see us create in the future. And if you would really like to support all of us here at the GameOverJesse channel, please consider purchasing a GameOverJesse t-shirt or becoming a Patreon at patreon.com/GameOverJesse, where you can receive many rewards, such as getting shoutouts, having any topic or theory that you select discussed on the podcast or made into its own video, having your question answered, joining on as a guest on the podcast, and playing with us during our Twitch live streams at twitch.tv/GameOverJesse, and much, much more.